Hello and welcome to the Praying Twice podcast. First episode ever. Super excited. My name is Martin Doman. I'm going to be your host for this podcast, and I'm so excited to get started on this journey with you. So what's this about? Well, it's about music. The name of the podcast is Praying Twice, but that's taken from a very famous quote from St. Augustine, who said, he who sings prays twice. So the whole podcast is built around the idea of music and how it helps us to connect to God. So music. I love music. I love it. It's such a gift, right? It's such a gift. It's so dynamic. It's so mysterious in its power. It's so captivating. It's so interesting. It has so much power to just touch the deepest emotions. I mean, you could be driving down the road one day, having a bad day, and maybe you put a song on or a song comes on, and it's like instantly you're transformed, or at least your mood is transformed into another place. You're just taken to another place. You're taken instantly on a journey to another emotion. You're kind of pulled completely out of the mood or the emotion that you're in and brought into another emotion, especially if the music's good. How can a song do that? How can music do that? How can it immediately cause us to just move to another dimension in our mind? It's amazing. I love music. And I just love the way that it connects us to ourselves. It connects us to our own emotions. And again, it's mysterious how that happens. I don't know how that happens. It's kind of amazing. That's why I'd like to think about it. But we don't really think about it, you know? I mean, music is a huge part of our media. It's a huge part of the way our culture communicates. Any movie you watch, any video you see, I mean, almost every video or every movie you watch has a lot of music in it as part of it. It's almost like a critical dynamic part of the entire thing, which is interesting because when you watch a movie, you just think you're seeing things, you're seeing experiences, you're seeing, somebody go through this story. You're not really thinking about the music, but it's there and it draws you in, like just pulls you right into it. It's kind of remarkable. Human beings all love music. We all love it. Everybody connects to music. There's not a human being alive that I know of that just hates music and never listens to it. It just disarms us immediately. It disarms us. It's kind of a common experience, like breathing or walking or just, I don't know, seeing. And it's constructed out of sound waves, right? And it's constructed within, I don't know, the structure of our universe. The very universe is cyclical, right? There's a beginning to the universe and there's an end to the universe, according to scientists and astronomers that study these things and physicists. Our planet spins around the sun. It goes around the sun, rotates, and then it also spins on its axis. So our whole world is built on this sort of rhythm, cyclical rhythm. Our heartbeat is built on a cyclical rhythm. This rhythm is a musical thing. It's part of, I guess, how we're wired, right? And so it does remarkable things. Music does remarkable things. And I love it. I just love it. And if you think the point of doing this podcast is so that we can talk about that and think about that and experience it. I should give you some more background on myself. I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. You could probably figure that out from the background behind me. And I want to engage this idea of music along with spirituality and along with faith, because I think it's critical to that. I guess my premise for the whole idea is that I think that God created music for us to connect to him. That's why it's created. That's why it's there. It's for us to connect to him, to his divine essence, to his power, his beauty, and his love, ultimately his love for us. And even for those of you that may be watching this that aren't Christians or aren't people of faith, or maybe that you've fallen away in your faith, I think that all of us can connect to this topic and connect to this idea of music being powerful and kind of awakening in us our spiritual longings. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. A couple examples, couple stories. I was watching a movie. One of my favorite movies is Casablanca. It's an old movie, black and white. And in this movie, there's this really music plays a huge part in this movie, and it's kind of like a romantic story. It's very dramatic. It's during World War II, and in the story, there's this place called Rick's, kind of like a bar club type of place, and and the movie opens up with this couple coming into this Rick's establishment, and the owner of the Rick is this kind of like really crusty, kind of angry person, and he has a really awesome musician at the piano named Sam, and he has it's a club, so they have it's like nightclub, so they have like a stage and musicians are there all the time, and he sees this girl and it like blows him away, and we don't really know why. Anyway, as it turns out, Rick has a former relationship with this girl that he sees as the wife of this other man, and it's very intriguing. But the reason I'm pointing it out is because there's this part where eventually she leaves and he leaves, and it's clear that they know each other, and then he's just depressed. At the end of the night, everyone's gone, and he's just sitting there at the bar drinking, and Sam, his musician, comes up and says, "Hey man, why don't you go to bed?" And he's like, "Play the music, play the song." And Sam's like, "What are you talking about? You don't want to do this. You don't want to go back there." And he says, Play it again, Sam." And so he plays this song. It's called As Time Goes By. "You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss," so on and so forth. And he's listening to this song and he's just drinking. And all of a sudden you see in his memory, the song comes on and the memory starts. And it's when he had this relationship with this girl in this other place at another time. And he was happy then. And now he's this angry, crusty person. A song does that, right? He's saying, play the song. He's demanding the song because the song is going to trigger the memory of this other life he had. There's another scene in the same movie that's really interesting that involves song, music. It's set during World War II, and there are, in the story, the Germans they occupy France, and they're occupying this place in Casablanca, Morocco, French Morocco. So the Germans are in control, basically, of this kind of small, this country and the city that it's in, the environment that it's in, they're in control. And so the Germans officers come into this nightclub, and they're, of course, trying to kick off some steam or whatever. And so they sit down at the table and they start singing. At some point, they start singing like a German song, and they're just robustly singing this kind of patriotic song. And I can't remember how it happens. I think the Rick tells the band member to play the Marseillaise, and so the band leader who's on the stage starts playing the Marseillaise, which is the French national anthem. And so there's this like song battle that goes on. You've heard of a dance battle. Well, this was a song battle, and the Germans are singing this, German song, and then the French are singing this song, and the girl singing the lead on the stage is like crying, right? She's singing her patriotic song about her country, and all of a sudden, all these ideas, patriotism and freedom and joy and pain, all of these things are kind of glued together in this song. And eventually the French song wins, and the German guy gets up and he's all angry, and he goes over to the political official who's Rick's friend and says, "This was an outrage," and he storms out. You're going to hear from me about this." Who knew a song could do all that? Just a song. That's amazing. What music can do. Like I said, it kind of glues together all sorts of different ideas and different feelings and emotions, and I don't know, it represents all of those things all at once. A song can do that. Another example, one of my favorite books is The Lord of the Rings, and of course there's the movies and the books by J.R.R. Tolkien. I think it's in the second book. I think it's the second book. There's a scene where, maybe the third one, I could be wrong. Anyway, where the main character Frodo and his partner Sam are both trying to get to the Mount Doom to destroy the ring. And at one point, Frodo is stung by this spider, this giant spider, and he gets stunned, and Sam thinks he's dead. And so Sam takes the ring and puts it on his neck and starts to carry it, thinking that Frodo's dead. Well, he finds out that these orcs come and take his body, blah, blah, blah. They take Frodo's body to this castle. this tower, very tall tower, and it's in this dark, ugly, disgusting, kind of dirty, black place. And Sam is following this group of orcs in secret, trying to get into the tower to save Frodo, which he discovers later on that he's not dead. But he's pretty much in despair, but he's just, I can't let them just take his body. So he follows them into this tower, and he's able to do that because he's invisible through the power of the ring. It's a long story if you don't know it. But anyway, he gets into this tower, and he comes inside the tower, and he's trying to find Frodo, and he can't find him. And there's orcs that are all dead. All these, evil characters they're all dead because they've all been fighting with each other, and they just killed each other. And so the place is filled with dead orcs, and it's just this terrible, depressing spot. And he can't find Frodo. He just gives up. He's like, I can't find him. He went through every door. He can't find him. And there's this beautiful scene where he sits down, kind of dejected and completely defeated, and he, out of nowhere, just starts singing. He just starts to sing. And he sings this beautiful, kind of a hymn, I guess, to Elbereth Gilfaniel, which is like a kind of a divine being that it's in that universe. And he's just singing in the midst of all of that darkness, in the midst of all that depression, in the midst of the complete defeat and feeling like it's all over. He thinks at this point that they've taken his master, they've probably killed him. It's done. It's over. But still, he sings. It's a beautiful scene. And it just reminds me, like someone was asking me, well, what is praise and worship? I said, praise and worship is like that. It's like singing music. In praise and worship music is like singing in the midst of darkness. When you're in the worst place possible, it's like singing because you want to believe, because you want to hope, because you want to have an idea that this life means something, that it's not all just for naught. That's not all just a defeat or a loss, that it actually is important. And what I'm doing right now is important. That's what music can do, right? It's amazing. There's another great story, and I'll finish with this. I was at a football game. My son Sean was in this state championship football game, and he was playing defensive line and offensive line. And in this game, it was in Florida. It was 8-man football, so they have like a smaller version of the regular football called 8-man, and schools from all over the state compete, and they were in the state championship. And of course, we were my wife and I and our sibling and Sean's brothers and sisters and our whole community was super excited about this. And we went out. You drove all the way to Orlando for this game. Anyway, I brought with me, being a musician, I brought with me a drum, kind of a tom drum, kind of like about this size. And this drum I brought with a drumstick. And every time the defense lined up to attack the offense who was in the game, I would just start hitting this drum. Boom, 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 boom. And I kept getting faster. Boom, 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 boom. And I would just keep going until I was like going crazy. And the crowd would just start erupting with cheering, right? And it would just get these players so amped. And they just destroyed the other team, It was amazing. My son at one point had a fumble that he picked up and ran it for a touchdown. I had an out-of-body experience. It was so amazing. I can literally see it happening in my mind in slow motion. That's what music can do. It can connect us to memories and deep things. I mean, in this case, it was this drum. Boom, boom, boom. That rhythm keep getting faster and faster and faster. There's something very primal, right, about that. Maybe it's because our heartbeat is like that. But this is the power that music has. And I believe that we can use music as a way for us to connect to the divine, to connect to our true purpose. Sometimes we can go through life being tempted to think that none of this means anything. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work out. It's not going to lead me to happiness. Or maybe we are happy, and we just think there's no God, or there's nothing else besides what we can see, just atoms and molecules, and that's it. But each of us has this common experience of wanting to know that what we do has meaning and purpose. And I think that music is tied to the same thing, tied to our meaning and our purpose. I know it is for me. So I just want to share, I guess, my musical journey with you in this podcast. I want to share with you the ways in which music has affected my life and made it so much more enriched, and maybe even share some of your journeys as well. In the future, we're going to have guests on the show and talk about their musical journeys and just the way the music has impacted their life, their favorite songs, their favorite moments that were connected to music. Telling stories is what life is all about. Our life is a story. Each one of us has a narrative that we go through. We have a beginning and we have an end of our life. And sharing those stories and connecting on that level connects us all together. And that's what music does as well. When people sing together, it really makes a difference. It really binds them together, like the people in that movie with the Marseillaise. So I'm really looking forward to exploring all this with you. Like I said, future episodes with guests, and I'm really looking forward to sharing this journey and exploring this beautiful gift that God's given us. So until next time, God bless.